here to talk about connected glass, and we'll kind of get into what that is in just a second. But to start, I wanted to just introduce myself and tell you a little bit about why I'm here speaking. So I run our retail partnerships at Westfield Labs, and Westfield Labs is the digital arm of Westfield Malls. And our purpose really is to begin integrating digital technologies into our brick-and-mortar shopping centers. We realize that as the consumer becomes even more digital, it's more important than ever that our shopping centers are meeting our shoppers where they want to be and providing retailers a connection to those shoppers. Perhaps more importantly, I am also a millennial, so I grew up with the internet. I expect for brands to be everywhere that I am. I expect them to be online, omni-channel, being able to shop and connect across every channel. And I love to shop. So what I do at Westfield is really the dream. I work in a mall and spend a lot of my money there, which is less of a good thing. But we are kind of living the dream here and getting to do something that I personally am affected by. So I'm here specifically to talk about kind of how we see the future of offline brick and mortar retail. And we're speaking specifically about a project we did in partnership with eBay Inc. Q4 last year at the Westfield San Francisco Center. And what we did was we took what were previously just windows in our mall and converted them into, for oversimplification's sake, giant iPads. We used something called touch foil and a projector powered by Sony that allowed shoppers to go up to a window and interact and shop from a brand. So we worked with Sony Electronics, Tom Shoes, and Rebecca Minkoff and allowed them to open, in effect, stores in our brick and mortar shopping center. And I think the most important thing about what we did here was we began to integrate digital technologies into traditional brick and mortar retail. So what was historically a very segregated world is all of a sudden becoming intermeshed in a way that it allows consumers the ability to go to a shopping mall and shop from brands in a digital way. And why we think this works and why we really believe this is the kind of future of retail is there are a couple things, and this is just a highlight of what we believe. But first of all, it allows a brand to showcase more inventory at a fraction of the cost. So instead of having to have a huge warehouse type environment where you're stockpiling inventory in every size, every color, because you have this digital overlay, you can now show customers every single product in every single product variation without having to house all of it there. We know that customers love to touch, they love to feel. 90% plus of dollars are still being spent in offline environments, even if people are researching online first. And we want to give people the ability to leverage digital technologies in that shopping experience that they're still telling us that they want. It also allows us to begin rewarding loyalty. So customers who are integrated with our websites, who are following us on social media, we can now begin incorporating that into their offline shopping experience because we have this digital layer that's connecting them to the brand. And again, with the digital storefront, you can begin leveraging in beacons, you can begin using Wi-Fi tracking, you begin doing a number of things that allow consumers to connect their experience with your brand and take it across channels. It also gives you the ability to give a real experience, something that a lot of consumers can't have online. And when you look at all of the brands who are beginning to move from online off, the Bonobos, the Bobble Bars, the Warby Parkers, every interview that they do, they talk about the experience. It doesn't exist online the way it does offline. And they realized that there was a big disconnect between what their consumers wanted and what they were actually getting from their brand. And so you're now able to give your consumers a physical experience in a physical world, even if you do it fully digitally. And that's something that hasn't existed before. The other thing that I think is just really interesting about this fact is that you have all of these people all of a sudden spending so much money on Coachellas, on Burning Man, on all of these offline experiences. And we have to recognize that consumers want to be engaged and they want to be able to understand what's happening with your brand, and we want to give them that ability. And just kind of speaking to does this make sense? Is it really true that offline retail is making a comeback, that brick and mortar is something that brands, especially digital brands, should be thinking about? And obviously, considering we've got a huge portfolio of offline shopping centers. We believe that it is. But we look to all of these previously online-only brands who are now moving offline. And we spoke about the Amazon store in the Westfield Center now. Like, I mean, this tells us something, that offline works, that consumers want to be interacting with brands offline. And we very much believe that the digital experience and something like the connected glass allows consumers the ability to interact with brands and for brands to be in an offline environment for them. And kind of most exciting thing to me is where we see this going in the future. And there are a couple of things that we very much believe the digital storefronts and this connected glass will allow brands and consumers to be able to do in the future. The first is that you can take the connected glass experience and you can apply it anywhere. It can be a freestanding structure like you see kind of in these first and last pictures, and that's something we actually have in existence at Garden State Plaza Shopping Center in Paramus, New Jersey. But it also allows you to turn any structure, any glass structure, into, again, for the sake of just oversimplification, an iPad. So in the middle experience, you have these in-store kiosks that allow consumers to come into your store, or into an overall shopping center and begin interacting and searching and integrating their digital presence with your brand in store. And you have at the end these kind of social interaction capabilities, and then here, product search. And that's something that we're really big on at Westfield, because there are some of our shopping centers that are over 1 million square feet. And you walk in there and you want to discover, you want to engage, but how do you do that in a gigantic shopping center? And we want to use digital technology and a digital footprint from the brands to be able to do that. So we really see this becoming the norm. We envision that most of our brick-and-mortar stores will begin having digital technologies integrated in and allowing consumers to interact in the way that, again, they continually tell us that they want to be interacting with brands. And that's kind of our what we believe the future of retail to be. So thank you.